Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Jake and Eddie here to talk to you today about
EVs.
EVs, not toys?
Not toy EVs, real electric cars.
Wow.
So,
Awesome. Ed,
settle in, strap in, put your seatbelt on.
click, clack, front and back.
Let's go.
Let's go. Tell us, Ed, have you got an EV?
I have two EVs at my house.
Wow.
I've got a Mercedes EQC, which is like an SUV shaped Mercedes, which is a really cool car. It's an interesting car because it's kind of, you know, it's not as cool as a Tesla. I've got a Model 3 as well. My wife drives a Model 3.
That was an interesting admission you just made.
It's not, and I'll tell you.
Mercedes is not as cool as a Tesla.
And I'll tell you why, right?
Please.
It's because Mercedes took a car and made it electric. Right?
Yeah.
And
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and Tesla just made an electric car.
Yep.
So I've got 3 ways, and even 4 actually, if I use voice, ways I can change the temperature. I can do it on my steering wheel, I can do it on the touch screen, I can do it on this knob, and I can say, hey Mercedes, it's too hot in here, right? Which is...
And then it plays, so hot in here. That would be what the Tesla would do.
Yeah, that's the difference, right?
The Tesla would turn the fire on. What's that, Eddie? You want more heat? Ludicrous mode engaged.
Yeah. So that's the difference. But, you know, when we go for long drives, we take the Mercedes.
Interesting.
It's so comfy.
Wow.
It's really good. Its auto steering is really good. Cruise control. Like it just, you don't have to think.
So you sort of cruise control, auto steer, hands off the steering wheel.
Hands off, feet
somewhat
off.
legally.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
You got to have your hand on there.
Yeah.
You know,
So it feels you there.
So it feels you there every now and then.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about it is, it seems, and I don't know the algorithm with Mercedes, but it seems though that when you don't have a lot of traffic and you have a really well-lined road, it lets you go ages without touching the wheel. Whereas I think the Tesla is more of a time thing.
Okay,
It
it's
seems
like
to
2
happen-
minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 minutes.
The Mercedes can go for ages. If you're not in traffic, if you're on the freeway and it's got really nice white lines, it seems to like you could just be sitting there
Infinitely
for ages.
almost.
Yeah, well, for a long time.
Wow.
And then you'll see, and you'll get in some traffic, and it'll want you to grab the wheel pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
It's pretty neat. I've actually driven your Mercedes, and now I think about the experience. It was nice.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like a finished car.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't give me that excitement of an electric vehicle though, like typically what I get out of it.
Yeah.
But it did feel like a really nicely finished car.
Yeah, I put it on learner mode for you.
Of course. Makes total sense now.
Training wheels.
Yeah, training wheels. And then you got a Model 3.
And then, and we've got a Model 3, just a
Sweet.
standard Model 3.
Yep.
And you know, the funny thing is, I had a Model Y on order. Remember I cancelled my Model Y?
You ordered that the first day it got released.
I was so
You prompted me that they were
I know. And you know, why did I? And it took a long time. But you know what? The funny thing is that I got the Mercedes. This sounds a bit weird, but the Mercedes was kind of like a temporary holdover. I could just get it straight away. I just wanted an EV. And I knew it'd be similar sort of money to the Model Y. Okay. So I just bought it. Sure. And I thought, the cars are holding their value so well that I literally could have sold it for about the same amount of money. Like a year later.
And had all your fuel savings and everything.
And had all my savings and everything, like my pasty savings. And here's a tip for you, that on top of the amount of fuel that I have not bought, I haven't bought a pasty in a year as well, because I'd go into the servo.
Firstly, who calls them a pasty?
Isn't that what it is?
What, are you talking about a pie? Or are you talking about a pastizzi?
No.
What are you...
A pasty, like a pasty with sauce. It's like a vegetable pie looking thing, like an oval shaped in a way.
Tell me you're from South Australia without telling me you're from South Australia. Anyway, we get meat pies up here.
All right. Call it a pie. I would buy a pie religiously and an iced coffee. I'd go in there, right? And I reckon I've saved $1,400
and a couple of calories
and dropped 7 kilos by not doing that.
Are you telling me that a byproduct, a by-benefit of buying an EV is dropping kilograms?
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
And I feel fitter, and I'm doing a great thing for the planet. Anyway, I got off track.
That's cool.
The point of the story was that, why didn't I buy the Model Y? I actually it took a long time, but I fell in love with my car, with the Mercedes.
Okay. Yep.
Like it wasn't, when you get in a Tesla, I think you instantly fall in love.
Absolutely.
It is just amazing, right?
Yeah.
Took me a while to fall in love with my Mercedes. And in the end, I was just like, and I finally got the stuff on it that I want. I finally got a tow bar on it, and I got roof racks on it, and I got
so
it
the
all
Mercedes
set up.
can tow quite well?
It tows my Malibu boat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow that you have a Malibu boat. But wow that it can tow it.
It's a 2005. It's like a 40 grand boat, but it's still sick.
Yeah.
And it tows it. I put it in and out of the water with it, and I take it to
That
where
would
I
be
need to.
reasonably impressive to see at a boat ramp.
Oh, yeah. It's killer,
People would watch you pull up and go, look at this nufty.
Yeah.
And then you'd ace
And
it,
I smoke
surely.
it
Yeah,
straight
you
down,
smoke
like,
it.
done.
It's one of the life competencies, like being able to reverse. And well, that's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that's my situation. But do you have an electric car, Jake?
Eddie, I do. Eddie, I've got 3 right here that are just models. But I do. I was somewhat an early adopter of a Model S. Not the first Model S, though. I have a Model S Raven, which is actually the last Model S that actually came to Australia. And I've recently gotten my wife and I bought a Model Y as well. So with Model S and a Model Y, a full electric house as well. So obviously, big solar system, batteries, electric vehicle charging. We've got heat pump, hot water, heat pump for the pool. We heat the house electrically. We don't have any gas left except for the barbecue. That's the last bit of gas that we have. So I do, mate, and I love my Tesla. My wife's Model Y is definitely the better family car. Like, it's got so much headroom. It's a beautiful ride too. Like, if you were to buy an all-rounder, the Model Y would definitely be it. The Model S, though, is exactly what you just said. I fall in love every time I drive it.
Yeah.
We just went for a drive, Eddie. How do you feel?
Well, you launched it,
Eddie.
in ludicrous mode.
Ludicrous Plus.
And it just...
I heated the battery up. I pre-conditioned it. It was charged optimally. And on a private road, we launched.
And it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was like, you don't feel that even in an airplane or anything.
No,
There's
way.
nothing, right?
No.
It's just...
I think a really fast roller coaster would mimic how it feels, but maybe not even.
Maybe not even.
It's
It was
pretty
amazing.
special, yeah. It makes grown men squeal.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So, yeah, I do it. I haven't lost the same amount of kilos as you, though, from not going to the servo, but I am saving some dollary dues, which is important, the old beef jerky. I don't get it as often anymore, and it's cool, right? I think a big benefit for my wife Sinead, we have a 10-month-old baby, and you don't have to ever stop for fuel. Have you ever, may have been a while back for you, Ed, having a baby and having to fuel up? You can't leave him in the car.
No.
You get a lot of trouble.
Buckle him.
Jail for that.
Yeah, you got to buckle him, take him out.
That's right. So a huge side benefit is just the efficiencies and the time that you don't realise you're saving, but you save by having an electric vehicle. Like, you wake up every day with a full tank of fuel, electrons, if you will.
Yep.
So it's cool. Now, Ed, you just said you bought the Mercedes as a tie-over and then fell in love with it and kept it. I've got this theory and a way that I feel about my electric vehicles. Previously, to own them, I had a Volkswagen Amarok, which was a beautiful car too, and then whatever else I had. And I used to be a fan of, you kind of get rid of cars when they 2 years, 3 years, whatever it was, right? When they ran out of warranty, I would have the mentality that okay, it's time to get rid of this thing. And when I bought my Tesla, I automatically ordered the Plaid as well and the Cybertruck, and I can't wait for Cybertruck if it comes.
Yeah.
But the Plaid's not that far away, and I don't think I'm going to upgrade to the Plaid. My feeling of my Tesla, especially after having a brand new one, is it has not aged a day.
Yeah.
It still feels brand new, and sometimes you get in it and it's a new car. It's had a software update.
Yep.
Does the Mercedes do the same thing, or is it more buttons, or what?
There's way more buttons. It does do software updates, right? But they're subtle. They're not like
change the whole car.
Change the whole car.
The way it drives.
Yeah, or give you extra range.
Yeah.
There you go. There's an extra 20 kilometres of range.
Yeah.
So, Tesla have just nailed that. Right?
Yeah.
They have nailed that whole thing. And I think that comes from when you're sitting down and we're designing a car from scratch, nothing's off
the charts.
off the table, is it? It's like, let's just do that, right?
Yep.
So whereas, with a car, like you're seeing a lot of the electric cars come out now, that's basically a car, right? And it's been modified.
Yep. Yep.
So there's this huge difference, I think, when even if you look at, say, a Polestar.
Yeah.
Have you been in one of them?
No.
Yeah, they're pretty sick, right?
Right.
But
They've built
that
it
was
from
never
scratch.
anything else.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Okay.
we're about to see this huge amount of so
And
much
BMW, Audi,
opportunity.
they've all got them already too.
So you won't. So you don't think you'll upgrade to the Plaid?
No, I don't.
No. Well, why would you? That's the question.
Why would I? It's just almost the same. It goes a bit quicker, damn it. But it's still serving me so well, and I love it.
From what I just experienced, why do you
want to go any
quicker?
Yeah, I know, I get it, Eddie. I get it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And look, there's no doubt they're a whole heap of fun. And in the beginning, when we adopted electric vehicles, people looked at you a little funny. Now you see them every day, right? Just then, when we went for a drive, we would have seen 2 or 3. They're everywhere. How do you think? I mean, well, it's obvious that they're no longer an inconvenience for people too. In fact, they're an asset to people's lives.
Yeah.
How does this fit in with our industry? Renewables, energy and what we are in. How do you see this being a challenge for us or an opportunity for us? Like, what are your thoughts? What are you planning when you're putting an energy system on someone's home right now?
It's super interesting. Our market's a little different in SA, so we've got a lot of penetration. Like, we were the first grid in the world to run 100% on rooftop solar alone.
That's
right?
so cool.
There was a day 4 years ago where for like 6 hours we were on 100% rooftop solar only, the whole grid.
That?
Right? So that opens up challenges. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you lose the interconnector to another state, you got too much solar, you've got to go somewhere, right? So the first thing that comes to my mind is that we now have this amazing opportunity to soak up the grid surplus, right?
Yes.
And then, so what's going to happen is people naturally are going to want to put more solar on their home because they want the self-sufficiency. And I can tell you right now, like, I've done a lot of Ks in my car, and I've bought charge from a charging station a few times.
Sure.
I would have spent, probably if I look at my PlugShare app, I would probably have spent less than $100 buying electricity.
Wow.
And the rest has come from my solar at work or my solar at home.
Well, here's a fun fact for you, Ed. I've had my Tesla since 2019 now. 2 of them, almost 4 years, and I've never spent $1 on charging.
Yeah, wow.
I've been so strict, and it does help that my Model S has free lifetime supercharging.
Yep.
But I've never ever spent $1 on it. It's always been charged at work or at home, which primarily comes from renewables.
Yeah.
But never out in the public have I spent $1 on charging.
Yeah, it's so good.
It may change.
It's so
but
good.
it's such an advantage right now.
Oh, I think so. And so my point being is we're going to load up a lot of solar because people want that self-sufficiency. But also there is going to be an opportunity for people who can't get solar, right?
Yep.
They will actually be able to put a battery on, right? So apartment building, think about an apartment building. They'll be able to have a battery in their apartment building, a Tesla, right? That will charge from that cheap surplus solar through the day.
In off-peak.
In that off-peak or really negative pricing even, right?
Yeah, on a live market.
So like on a live market, actually pretty much right now in SA, there's negative price event right now.
Right now.
If you had a Powerwall, I've got a Powerwall at my shack, and I've got no solar there. So what that's doing right now, that is, I'm being paid to charge that, and when I drive there, I can use that
for free
for my car,
put in your car
or my house. Right,
incredible.
And this is going to open up. So solar is going to increase. There's no, and particularly in New South Wales, where your penetration's still got a lot to go. But I tell you what is. Battery storage is going to be where it's at, right? Obviously, you need an EV charger. You'll need a battery storage. If you bought a Tesla, you'd probably buy a Tesla battery. You'd probably buy a Tesla EV charger. You'd have your car. For people that don't have Teslas and other cars, we sometimes use Fronius Watt Pilot or Delta, depending on the configuration the customer wants. So there's good options out there if you've got one.
Enphase have got a bi-directional charger coming as well with IQ8s inside of it.
So talk about that. So what is a bi-directional charger going to do?
Well, it's a good question. So some vehicles, Nissan Leaf at the moment, will let you use the energy in the home. To do that though, you need a bi-directional charger, so you're going to take energy out of the vehicle. Now, to be clear, This here is a supercharger. This is actually a charger, and it will inject DC straight into your car. It bypasses the charger inside the Tesla, but the Tesla and most EVs have a charger inside of them. So those little destination chargers that you see that are on the walls, they're not really a charger, they're just an AC coupler. The charger's in the car. So that charger in the car, well, it depends on the car. They're not bi-directional always. And I don't know if Tesla's actually is or not. I'm not sure.
Don't know.
Nissan Leaf's is, I believe.
It is.
With the Enphase bi-directional charger, it will actually take out AC and it will go straight into the home. Or it can take out DC, go through the IQ8s, and actually be injected into your home. So that's the Enphase one. I don't know how many IQ8s it's got in it. It must have, for the size of it, I reckon at least 4 or 8.
Yeah, okay.
And it will actually use your car to supply the home. Now, that's going to come with some challenges too, Eddie, because car manufacturers like Tesla don't necessarily want you ripping all the energy out of their batteries just because you can sell it for a high price when it's a high demand on the grid. You'll probably find that it might reduce warranties and things like that. They don't really want them being pulled apart like that. But other manufacturers might not mind. Now, another thing is too, Tesla, we speak a lot about energy management platforms now. You know, Enphase has got their own one, Fronius has got one, Tesla have got one. But the advantage that Tesla have over almost everyone is they've got a vehicle.
Yeah.
They've wrapped wheels around a battery. They're the only people to really do it, as well as build home batteries. So it's not really in their best interest, I don't believe, to let people rip energy out of their cars when they have a product that does that called the Powerwall.
It's a really interesting point because I wonder what BYD's strategy will be. They're the other manufacturer
they're the other one.
That's got a car and a home battery. And I haven't heard any noise about bi-directional on the BYD either, because again, and you know the other thing as well. But the other thing as well is like you've got to wonder like, do you really need to use your car as a portable battery? Because ultimately, the lifetime of a battery is driven by factors, right?
Cycles.
But cycles is the primary one. How often you fill it and use it, right? So if you're going to use it as your home battery, are you lessening the life of your vehicle? And I agree with you what you said earlier on too. The need to switch your cars over. You know, I think Andy McCarthy's first Tesla, I think, is a 14. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and Rob Manson's got one as well.
And Manson's got one as well, right? And, you know, those cars are still being driven around by at their works, and they're being used. And they have not been traded in. Now, if they were a Colorado...
Manson's oldest one had a battery replacement under warranty, and they did it without bat an eyelid.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's just, so he's got it's essentially like a new car.
So if that was a Colorado or Amarok or whatever, that definitely would be traded in by now. That would not be part of that work fleet anymore.
It'd be rattling to bits.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be toast.
100%. So I agree with you. I think this is going to bring a whole new, world of holding onto your car longer. And whereas I think there's a bit of a myth that's, you know, a lot of the keyboard warriors will be like, 40 grand to change your battery every 2 years. Like, right,
Is it, mate?
You know, can you show me where you got that piece of info?
I love it,
because I think it's the opposite. I think we're going to get way more kilometres out of these batteries than what we thought we were going to get. Right?
I agree. I seen the other day, just on that, you've got me hooked on this, I've got to say it. My mate's Nan, right?
Your mate's what?
My mate's Nan. She had a crack on Facebook. She posted a picture or something of like a container on fire, and she always is roasting renewables and electric vehicles. I commented on it. Must have had an EV inside. Just to give some back. I'm like, man, do we got to wait for these people to move on before this takes off? Like, get the negative comments out.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Anyway,
so have you had any, what's been your longest trip you've done?
I've driven to Coffs Harbour. This is interesting. I've driven to Coffs Harbour from Penrith. I did do a stopover at Central Coast, I think I charged. And I don't remember exactly what I had when I left. But my Model S, you get like 550 Ks to a charge. Pretty good. I rolled into Coffs Harbour with 2% battery.
Were you stressing or not?
Very much so.
Yeah.
But I have had it lower. I got home one time when I lived up the mountains on 1%. But the thing with Tesla is what it does is it tells you what you're going to have when you get to the destination. So when I said put in Coffs Harbour, it said I was going to have 3%. I'm like, wow, what a way to test this out. So I rolled I know. I rolled into Coffs Harbour, like anxiety levels were reasonably high. It was the first time I'd taken it under 10% with 3%. And this thing was spot on. Hey, like it gives you live feedback when you're driving it. Like if you keep this up, peck and neck, you're going to have a flat battery. You know, like there are times when it says, like take it easy, keep under 80 Ks. And there are other times where you can see that you're actually ahead of where it thought you were going to be. And things that may put you ahead, Eddie, you can have a tailwind. And that sounds crazy, but that really helps. You know, and these calculations, it takes into account whether you're going uphill, downhill, because of course with electric vehicles, another massive benefit and something most people don't know, we rarely use brakes in an electric vehicle. Your braking's done with regen brakes. I'm not even going to try again. Regen, right? So you back off the accelerator. It's essentially single pedal driving. You back off, brakes come on, and it's putting energy back into your battery or potentially a capacitor bank and then into a battery. And it will give you the stat of how much you've put back into your battery. So it's taking all that into account as well. Now, the Tesla reckon like even these semis are something stupid, like 200,000 Ks before you even change brake pads. You know, no other vehicle on the road does that. Not possible. So well, Elon was saying, I saw him on a video the other day saying, you know, he believes that, you know, we'll get so good at driving these vehicles that they'll get to 1,000,000 miles. And the brake pads will still just be good. You know, will still be good because they're so powerful. The reason why I asked you about your Ks, I'll tell you a quick story about this. So Tesla have just started opening these up for any vehicle now, so I can charge on this guy with my Mercedes. So I was at Clare, which is like a winery type place in South Australia, and I was pulled up at the supercharger there. It's unlike you not to fly your helicopter there, Eddie. No, I didn't didn't want to use the diesel. Anyway, I don't think they're diesel. I think they're petrol. Are they? Aviation fuel. They would be. They would be. Okay. So I don't have a helicopter. Petroleum. So, point of my story is, this guy rocks in next to me with his Model 3 Tesla with the seats flat, 2 pillows and a sleeping bag sort of thing. And he's an old dude. Right. And he gets out and he sees NRGsolar on the side of the car. He wants to come and talk solar panels. Anyway, if you're watching this, Eddie has told me that he had a great chat. I had a great chat with this guy, right? Anyway, so have I told you the story before? No. So, but you haven't told the people. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you then. Don't worry about him. So I just said to him, so what are you up to, mate? He said, I've just driven over from Perth. And he's on his way to Victoria. He's just driven the Nullarbor and he's been sleeping in his car. And I said to him, how's it been? And he said, it's been bloody amazing. It's been luxurious. The stops have been good. He even charged, did you ever see that vegetable oil burning generator that they've got somewhere at Nullarbor? No. They get all the fat from all the fish and chip shops and that, and they put it in there, and it's like that's how they're creating electricity. Right? He even charged on that. Got some photos with his. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like it's good. Like it's great. It's good, isn't it? Like it's still burning something though. Yeah, but they're doing it in a really environmentally friendly way. We'll put a link down to it underneath. It's a pretty cool story. Yeah, nice. Anyway, so he had actually driven across the Nullarbor and he was on his way to Victoria. Wow. And I said to him, you know, did you stay in any accommodation? He's like, yeah, that. And he pointed at it. He said, I could have stayed heaps of places. He said, but it was good. Yeah. It was warm. Yeah. It was cool when I needed it to be. You would have entertainment. He goes, I had my Netflix there. Yeah. And he was like a retired dude. And he was just absolutely loving life. Just living the dream. Yeah. So when people get range anxiety, I said to him, did you have any range anxiety? He's like, no. I just put it in my app. Yep. It showed me all the charges. I could see whether those charges got used yesterday, so that I knew they were working. True. Yeah. And he goes, and I've had the best trip of my life, is what he was telling me. Incredible. Yeah. Incredible. So that's amazing. Have you noticed, up here in New South Wales, all of our BPs and Shells right now are getting fast chargers.
Are they?
The one across the road, the Shell, just got a 350 kilowatt charger put in, 4 of them or something like that.
That's
Maybe
good.
2, but they're provisioned for 4.
Yeah.
Have you guys got that happening in SA
We
yet?
don't have, no, we're a bit slow in SA. What we've got.
We know, but have you got chargers coming in yet?
So the RAA, which is like the equivalent of the RACV and whatnot.
NRMA.
NRMA
Yep.
in your case, yep.
Yep.
So the RAA, they're putting charge network across our state.
Yes.
You know, and the first plan, I believe, is that there'll be, of these superchargers, you will not be able to go anywhere in the whole state more than 100 Ks between superchargers. They will just be there. Right?
We've got that right now. NRMA have smoked it in New South Wales.
So good.
It's
That
the
is
best.
so
and
good.
they are great, reliable chargers.
Because for you, that means you can pass 4 of them.
Yeah.
You know, at
yeah.
400 Ks into the trip and then pull up at the 5th one and charge and you're fine,
Or, like, see, the thing is about driving 400 Ks, Eddie, is that you shouldn't do it, right? You're supposed to stop every 2 hours.
Now, I was about to bring that up.
I know, mate. Now, see, here's the thing. If you've got to stop, revive, survive, which, you know, the government pushes, and it's a great thing to do, you just plug in. These chargers are always at a great spot where there's somewhere to walk, a cafe to eat at, a McDonald's to get a delicious quarter pounder from.
I don't do that. Do you?
I do. and so there's always something to do at these chargers.
So
too.
good.
It's great.
You know where we have a lot of work putting chargers in at the moment? Wineries.
Yeah, wow, they're all doing it, aren't
And
they?
they're all doing it
people
because
like you are not flying their helicopter anymore.
No,
they've got their Roadster.
Well, that's where I ended up charging before I left Clare.
Yep.
I went into this winery, Mick someone it was called, great winery. But you know, the funny thing is, I would not have gone, I had no reason to go there.
Yeah. What a strategic
Except
play.
they had a charger.
Yep.
In the end, my brother was there and the 4 of us, we ended up having a wine tasting.
bottles of wine, topping up your cellar.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It was
How
so good.
There's an awesome one at Port Macquarie. They've got Tesla superchargers there up the mid-north coast of New South Wales.
Yeah.
The one before the Coffs Harbour one. And I can't remember what it's called, but it's a cracking winery. There's one at the top of Putty Road as well.
Yeah.
You just roll in there, relax, have some wine or food or whatever, and off you go. Well, Ed, it's no secret, the future is undoubtedly electric. And what an exciting time to be in renewables, you know, like this is all happening around us. And we're in the midst of it, you know, it's fun, and I kind of feel sorry for anyone who's not in it. I mean, maybe people don't like it as much as us, but anyway, I love it. You know, it's obvious, right?
Yeah.
Anyone who's ever seen, don't worry.
Yeah.
What's your takeaway, Ed? Let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I'll wrap it up with this story, right? So, obviously, 100 years ago, Facebook wasn't around, so keyboard warriors weren't around, right? But what people were saying is that car will not be able to see a pothole as well as my horse. Right? That was the reason that they could see at that time why you would never want to get into an internal combustion engine car.
Wow.
Because the horse could see a pothole and it would just, you know, go around a pothole.
Wow.
Right? And that, for some people's minds, I'm never giving up my horse for that reason. And we have got those people now 100 years later saying, I will never ever sit in an electric car. But I guarantee you 99% of those people, they'll either die first or they'll end up owning an electric car.
Of course.
Right? Because it's the future. And the future isn't that, it's here actually. When I say it's the future for everybody, but it's already here.
Yep.
So, you know, if you get a chance to get in an electric car, get in one. And if you're really unsure about it, you're probably not even going to watch this podcast this long.
True.
Right. But if you hung in there and you hate it, you know what? Come to Penrith Solar or come to NRGsolar, get in the car, I'll take you for a drive and tell me that you don't think that's the future.
Absolutely.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
And then we'll drive around to your house and I'll quote you solar and a Powerwall.
And a car charger.
And a car charger.
Oh, of course, the most important part. Wow, that's unreal. Well, guys, there it is. Electric vehicles. The future, or are we living in the future today? We'll chat to you soon. Uru.
Better one.